Hallå ja! Hey! Welcome to episode 19. Welcome back returning viewers and welcome to any new viewers. I'm Maja, also known as Sjomajlin on Ravelry and on Instagram. Welcome. This is Saturday, what is it though? The 20th. 20th of December 2014. Excuse me. Yesterday I did my last day for work before the holiday season, and yesterday as I tried to go to sleep, which is still sort of a problem, I tried to count in my head without looking in my calendar, but I do think that before or until February I will work 8 days. Yay! Awesome. I've been looking forward very much to having this time off, so that is good. And I do think that, is it tomorrow? I think, or is it today? No, I think it's tomorrow. That is the darkest day of the year, and then it turns and becomes, the days become longer again, and that is good. And it seems like we might be getting some actual winter, maybe not for Christmas Eve, which is our Christmas, but maybe for Christmas Day, and then for a week or so. It seems like it will be colder, and it will be some snow, and that is good, because right now it's just grey and rainy and awful. So hopefully there will be some proper weather as well. That's good. I've finished some stuff since we last spoke. That might be Christmas gifts, I don't know. Sorry, I think I just quaked the earth. Do you even say that? Let me just move this, because I have a... Did I move you? Sorry if I did. I showed you last week that I have finished the scarf, which is folded, so it's a bit longer than that, and the first revling, and then I was working on the second one, and I don't know right now which is which, but I did finish the second one, and I've blocked them slightly, but I've blocked them a bit. So I showed them to you last week because I wasn't sure that I would have the time, that they would be finished in time for this week, and they might be gifted on Wednesday. So these are the revlingar. These are the revlingar. I don't know if there is a good word for them in English. So, and I've showed this to you before, but what they are is sort of wrist warmers. You just wind them on, I suppose. And since there is, on these I made an I-cord, you could crochet a chain for the top, and you just sort of wrap it around itself to sort of secure it, and that don't have to be that far up. So that's what they are. These are pretty narrow. You can make them bigger, and they can go, you know, when you put your coat on, and then maybe you have mittens, and there might be some skin in between, because they might... How do I even explain this? The jacket, it's jacka in Swedish, that's why I'm thinking jacket, but it's a coat, right? The coat arm might be sort of, you know, standing out, and the sleeve, and the mitten might do sort of the same, so that they sort of meet like that instead of doing this. Do you know what I mean? So you can have these under, so that there won't be bare skin, because these will go under. Am I making any sense today? I hope I am. Yeah, okay, so I finished those. And they might be gifted. as I said, to someone who might be watching this. I don't know, actually, I don't know. I know that my family knows about this. I don't know how much they are watching. And I don't know how... Because yeah, once our Christmas is on Wednesday. And even if they are watching, they might not be active enough to be watching by Wednesday. They might see this later and then they will know who it was for. Anyway, and my computer just says something. And I'm why are you telling me that? I don't care. Sorry, distraction. So I finished those. They will be wrapped and yeah. Or they might be... whatever. They were made out of drops fabel. And I'm shaking a little bit. Hope that's okay. This is superwash treated sock wool, it says. So it is wool and polyamide, 75-25. I did knit them on 2.5 mil needles. And it's recommended to use, on the ball band it's recommended to use 3mm needles or hooks. But I don't know, I think I'm not a very loose knitter, but I'm more loose than tight. So I went down a needle size because I wanted it to be a dense fabric. Yes. And then I have some more stuff that might be gifted. I finished this. I had started it last week and I told you about having started it and done, well, up to here maybe, or something, on 130 stitches, because I thought that would be good, because it doesn't say on the ball band. This is I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's an Italian yarn. It's 100% acrylic. It's 133 meters per 50 grams. And it doesn't say anywhere how many, well, I mean what the gauge might be. So I totally guessed, and I cast on 130 stitches and knitted it up, and then I realized it was way too big. So I ripped it all out, cast it back on with 88 stitches instead, and the yarn is awful to work with. It's okay in the skein, it's okay in the knitted fabric, but it's awful to work with. So I was not super happy about that. And so I was not very far. I was maybe this far when I showed it to you last. It's obviously a hat, if you can't see that. So it's supposed to be sort of a pointy hat. I will weave in the ends. Yeah, so I picked it back up when we had talked to knit on it. I was knitting it with DPNs. And I must have, you know, wrapped the yarn around the DPNs somehow, because I picked it up, started knitting, and when I had done almost one row, I realized that there was, you know, the last excuse me, whew, the last stitch on that needle was sort of the live stitch, even though I was knitting. So I must have wrapped the yarn around the DPN, because all of a sudden I had this long strand of yarn, as you can see, where I point with my thumbs on the inside. And I was like, no, I am not ripping this back, I'm not sinking back, I'm not doing anything. So I saved it just to show you. I will cut it in the middle and then just weave in both of the ends. But I was like, I am not taking any more bull from this project. So I knitted on, and then after another couple of, I don't know, like 2 more rows or something, and I posted this to Instagram, so you might have seen it, I just realized something looked weird, and I had dropped a stitch. Well, I had dropped it there. I had knitted a few more rows, so I had done some more before I realized it. But I had dropped a stitch So I just secured it with this stitch marker. And as I said, I had knitted a few more rows pretty tightly, so there was not room to pick the stitch back up. So I was like, no, but I'm not dropping down. I am not. So I left it to show you and to whine. So I will secure that stitch to the back and just leave it like that. And obviously weaving this end too. So it's not quite finished, but I'm showing it to you as if it's finished, because it might be gifted before we speak again. So I did a green, I did a blue, which was much better behaved. This I had no problem with this. The weird thing is, it's the same yarn, but this yarn is actually, it feels way thicker. I don't know if it's to do with my gauge when knitting, but I don't think so, because I knitted it on the same needles. 3.5mm DPNs, nothing fancy at all. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I made a blue one, just the same, except for no dropped stitches and no strands on the inside. So just have to weave in those ends as well. And then I started a red one. The same. 88 stitches, and just knit it for like almost this long. That's how I measure it. I think this is like 21 or 22 centimeters or so. And then I do the decreases. So they will be the same. And this is also, this yarn also makes a thicker or a denser fabric. But it's the same yarn, so I don't know what that is about. Doesn't really matter, it's just something that I'm wondering about. Yeah, so this might also be gifted before we speak again, but it will be the same, so it's nothing fancy. But I'm working on that, and as I said, this is Saturday, and Christmas, when it might be gifted, is on Wednesday, so I have plenty of time to finish this, so I'm not worried about that. But I do want to sort of power through it so I have it done, so I don't have to worry. But yeah, I know, I mean, I'm not worried. I know I have plenty of time to do it. So that's what I'm working on. Excuse me for leaning, I just need to pick up that skein so I can put it away. I have my little storage baskets from IKEA with the like a wire inside. This is number 3. And in number, did I say 3? It said 3. I just thought it also said 2. This is number 2. In November, the beginning of November, I think it was, I did cast on the Elder Tree Shawl by Sylvia Bow Bilvia. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I cast it on and I started it, and when I was at home on sick leave, it's okay. As you can see, it's a lace knit, and it looks like, yeah, you know what lace looks like when it's not blocked. But it's sort of, you know, this organic, almost like scales or flower petals or something. It's kind of organic looking, I think. Yeah, it's very easy. It's a super easy pattern. It's 4 rows. It's a 4-row repeat with, well, it's 4 knit rows, and then you just purl back. So it's 8 rows, and then it's sort of half in half. So the actual pattern repeat is making that 4-row repeat twice, because you sort of move it, but it's just 4 rows to keep track on, because then you do the same. And it's not hard. It's not hard at all. But at that time I just couldn't. I was so, just by looking at it, my brain just shut down. I was so tired and I just couldn't. So I did put it to the side and decided that I won't work on it before I feel like I want to. And usually, I've been having this as sort of almost an experiment, because usually having something that I know is just, you know, being there, not being worked on, that usually is a stress factor for me, because I want to work on my stuff. And I did not want to rip this out or anything. I wanted it, but I just did not have the brain power to work on it then. So I've been sort of playing, almost like some new version of yarn chicken with this. I've been thinking that I won't work on it till I actually feel like working on it. And if that is me wanting to work on it, or if that is me not wanting to be stressed about it, so it's sort of, you know, worth it to work on it, we'll have to see. And this week I just felt like I really want to work on it. So it was when I was knitting on these, the last revling, and I think I was working on the blue hat, so I knew that I would have to finish those and then the red one. So I was thinking I wanted to finish, I think at least this, the revling, and also maybe the blue one, I don't remember. But I was thinking I need to finish this so that I won't, you know, be on a super tight deadline for what might be Christmas gifts. So I did not pick this back up just directly when I was thinking of it, but almost. So I started a few nights ago, I think, or days ago. I don't remember when it was that I picked it back up. But I did, and that was not because that I did not feel stressed at all about it. I just really wanted to work on it. So I picked it back up, and I've done I think 3 pattern repeats or something. So I mean, I've done some on it, and it's, you knit it from the neck down, so the rows get longer, obviously. So for each repeat you add on one more of these scales, or whatever you call it. So the repeats, or the rows get longer, and the repeats also get longer. Yeah. But I've been working on it and I like it. I really like it. I'm looking forward to see how it blocks out, because it's, yeah, pretty ugly right now. But I mean, I see that it will be beautiful, and I really do think that I will like it. And I was thinking, because sometimes I like to give my projects names, and sometimes I don't, and it doesn't really matter. But I was thinking about this. The pattern is the elder tree shawl, so it's a tree, and the yarn that I'm using is, and I've caked this up and I've started to use it. I caked it super loosely, so the hole is already huge. I'm not sure that the color comes across very well. It's like a blue-gray. What I see on my little screen is much lighter than what it actually is. It's pretty dark. Maybe this is better for, yeah, that is how dark it is, I think. And it's sort of a blue-gray. I think of it almost like as a stormy thundercloud. I think it's beautiful. This is Gotland wool toys, is what the yarn is called. And you can see what it looks like. It has a little sheen to it, and it's pretty. Can you see that? It's pretty fussy. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it against my hair because it's darker. And it's not thick and thin, but it's a bit uneven in thickness. Or uneven, well, inconsistent, maybe, which I really like actually, because I think it looks very much alive. It has its own, you know, it's not, well, it's spun in a mill, but it's small and it's very, I mean, it's not like mass produced in, you know, this sort of unhuman spinning mill. It's very human, and I think it sort of has soul, and personality and character. So I really like it. So I was thinking this really needs a name, and so as I said, the yarn name is Töjs, which is Swedish, or which is the, what do you say, it's like accents, or well, it's like on Gotland they have special words that other places in Sweden don't really have for stuff, and Töjs is their version of tös, which is not that much of a difference, which is like a very old word for girl. So this is like a tree girl, so it's my dryad. I think that's what it is in English, right? Dryad is a Swedish, I think it's dryad, I'm pretty sure. Which is, you know, the tree spirits that mostly were female in different, what's it called? Mythologies? Mythologies. I think you know what I mean. So this is my dryad, and I'm liking it. I am knitting it on. Let me show you. And I just realized I don't know, and I don't have a gauge measure here. Carbons, and my computer just told me something again, I'm sorry. Carbons, Knit Pro Carbons, fixed circular. And I think they might be 3.5. I think they are 3.5. I know these are 3.5. I can compare. Oh, project down. Yes, these are 3.5s. 3.5 mils. Oh, next project down. Yeah, so I'm working on it. I don't know how long the cable is, but it's the shawl is getting bigger, so I don't know, because I'm thinking I want to make this huge, and of course you can, you know, sort of bunch up the shawl on the needle. The needle don't have to be as long as the project, but I'm starting to be a little worried, because if this needle is too short, I have to change it to something else, and then I don't have the same. I don't have any what do you say, interchangeable carbons. I just have the symphony wood. Are they symphony wood? I think they're called symphony wood, right? The Knit Pros. Oh, and I need to sneeze. I don't wanna. Yeah, so if I excuse me, if I need to change this to a longer needle, I will also have to change it to working on wooden needles, and this yarn, as I said, it's a bit fussy, and it's a bit, well, not thick and thin, but getting closer to thick and thin than very even. So it's a little bit hard to knit. It's a little bit hard to work with. I like it, but it takes a bit more focus than other yarns and projects do. And I'm a bit worried that if I change the needles, it will change the actual fabric as well, or the result. So hopefully I won't have to do that, but we'll see. And I am thinking about, and I did not bring that, so because this pattern is the sort of pattern where you just knit until you're done or you're out of yarn. It doesn't say, you know, repeat for this number and then you're done. It says, you know, you can make it as big or small as you like. But then the suggestion is that you do some, I think it's just some stockinette or even garter rows at the edge and then cast it off, so that you don't stop in the middle of this lace pattern. So I was thinking that I might, because I really want to use up all of this yarn, and I might, because I have another yarn which is also from Gotland. I did show it to you in, I don't know, beginning of November, end of October. probably with the beginning of November, because in October I mostly talked about socks, didn't I? It's another yarn, but it's pretty much the same. I do think that excuse me, I do think that it will be okay to combine them. And it's lighter grey, and it's because this has blue and sort of steely tones, that has, like, you know, just greys. So I'm thinking that it might be nice to use that as a border, and that means I can do the lace pattern until I run out of this yarn, and I don't have to think about, you know, having enough to do the bind off and that, and then I could just do it in that yarn. And it's also a Gotland yarn, and I got it at the same time because this is also, you know, a memory from the trip we did this summer, which was awesome. So by combining it with another yarn that I got at the same time, I'm not compromising the what's the word? The affection value. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, so we'll see. I haven't decided yet, and I have a lot of yarn left before I need to make that decision. But yeah, I picked this up, and I actually really like working on it. I enjoy it very much. So that is, it feels really good. So that's my bigger work in progress. I obviously need to finish the red hat, but that is pretty mindless, and I just need to power through, and then it's done. And then this is my only work in progress, which is pretty unusual. I'm not that much of a monogamous knitter. I usually have some things going on, even though I usually don't have a lot of things going on. Excuse me, I just need to move that over. I did find this week, and just need to get it up here on my computer, a new, or at least new to me, heel that I would like to try, which means I need to knit socks if I want to try them. The pattern is called Fork in the Road Socks. Fork in the Road Socks by Lara Neal. And it is, I haven't read it's a free pattern, free Ravelry download. I have not read it through yet, so I can't tell you, but I do think that the sock itself is pretty straightforward, and nothing much to it. And I think that the afterthought heel is the thing. It is called the Thumb Joint Hat Top Heel. In her book, the Sock Architecture, Thumb Joint Top Hat Heel, and it looks like it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think, points of decreases. So it's almost like a hat that decreases, and it says, and I want to read this to you. This is what it says on the Ravelry project, or the what's it called? The pattern page. If you think you don't like the fit of afterthought heels, I hope you'll try this wonderful version. It is automatically customized to fit the wearer, and I have never known anyone who tried it who didn't fall in love. In my book, Sock Architecture, I call it the Thumb Joint Hat Top Heel. To make it fit perfectly, you will have to measure the feet and part of the thumb of the wearer, which should confuse them greatly. It's always fun to scare the muggles, isn't it? And I just love that. And as I said, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what it's about. But I really want to try that, because that sounds amazing. And there are some project photos of other knitters making this, posting projects, pictures of their projects, come on. And it looks, well, honestly, it looks really ugly. The heel looks really ugly when it's just, you know, laying without a foot in it. It looks super wonky, but when it's on a heel it looks snug, and I want to try it. So I have that in the back of my mind. Fork in the road socks. Check it out if you want to. Yeah, I'm thinking about that, and then I'm also, cause I'm a little bit not stressed, but excuse me, worried, or not worried. I'm not concerned. I don't know what word to use, but since I will finish the red hat very soon, and then I will have the scarf to work on, the shawl to work on, but that is. I mean, that's lace knitting. I want something else to work with, or work on also. So I'm thinking, what do I want to cast on? So I want to make those socks, I think. And I'm also thinking about the, the Lado sweater that I got the pattern for from James. Hi James! Thank you very much again. So I want to make that, and I have the yarn. I have printed the pattern. So I'm thinking that can be sort of my holiday knitting. So I want to cast that on. But I did order online a Christmas present for myself. Oh, I just lost the name of it. What's it called? Knit Pro. The pattern minder. Is it called Magma? Let me just see if I can find it here in my like order confirmation that I got in my mailbox. Can you hear my neighbors running? I'm sorry if you can. Knit Pro Magma. Yeah, I bought the large one. So it's almost like, I mean, do you know what I mean? Do you know what it is? It's almost like a binder, but it has a pocket where you put the pattern, and then, I'm sorry if that is bothering you. It's kind of bothering me. You have a pocket where you put the pattern, and it's magnetic, so you have smaller magnets to sort of keep, maybe it's not in a pocket when I think of it. You have smaller magnets to keep the pattern stay, and then you have like a longer magnet to use instead of, you know, washi tape or whatever you could use to keep track of the pattern. And I think, because I've been thinking to get one of those for a while, and I've thought like, no, I don't need it, because it's not super cheap. So I was thinking like, no, I don't need it. I don't really need it. But now I thought that, yeah, but maybe I need a good Christmas gift for myself. And for that, because the Lado sweater is a Bohus inspired colorwork yoke sweater with, and now I'm unsure, I think it's 6. There is the main color for the sweater, and I know one number was 6, so I don't know if it's the main color plus 6 contrast colors, or if it was 6 color total. But it's a lot of color to keep track of in this color work chart. Diagram in Swedish, so I was trying to make it into diagram. Yes, so I was thinking that, yeah, I'd like that. So I'm waiting for the Knit Pro Magma to arrive here so that I can use it for keeping track of the Lado yoke chart whilst working on it. So I have that, you know, on the horizon, but I haven't started it yet. So I might do the socks before. We'll just have to see. I have time off now, and I will be just be enjoying myself. I will finish up the last stuff that might be gift knitting, and then I don't have any obligations. I just have to knit whatever I feel like, which is a good thing. and just to be clear, I want to make these things that might be gifts. That is not me feeling like obliged, that's the word, right? Obliged to do it. I want to do it, but it is on a deadline. So, yeah. So that is sort of my plan for the holidays, when I will hopefully have a lot of knitting time and stuff to work with. And I don't know, I might get some, I don't know, I might get something, excuse me, I might get something knitting related in for Christmas, and then I might want to do that. We'll have to see. So yeah. Obviously the holidays are coming up. I do think that I will be able to keep my podcasting schedule, which is pretty much record on Saturdays and then wrestling with my computer to get it uploaded, which usually won't happen until Sunday. But since I have the time off, I might be able to start recording on Friday and then get it uploaded on Saturday. We'll just have to see. I think I will be able to keep the schedule going through the holidays, but I am not promising you anything. If I skip a week, I will skip a week. I will not stress myself about this. But I like talking to you guys, so I hope that, I think that I will keep it going, and I think I will. Yes, I want to say a few words about the Ravelry group. There is a group on Ravelry, it's called sjomajlin group, 2 words. And I have not had the energy to be very active in it, and I have not really felt like wanting to either, honestly. And I'm thinking, because there are so many groups out there and things going on and everything, so my group might not be needed. There might not be, you know, demand for it, and that is completely fine. So it will still be up there, but I will not be, you know, sort of working on getting it active and making stuff happen, because I don't have that energy right now. And what I'm thinking is that if it's needed, if there is a need, or, you know, for it, it will be there. But if not, then it won't, and that is completely fine. So I'm not at all trying to guilt anyone into doing stuff or post stuff in it, not at all, okay? The holidays are coming up. Please enjoy them, no matter if you're... I'm obviously celebrating Christmas. If you're not celebrating at all, if you're celebrating any of the other holidays that are about to happen, I do hope that you will enjoy them, and that you will have a good time with friends and family and knitting or crocheting or fibery stuff. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and to one another, and don't stress out over all the holiday obligations. The only thing you have to do is be kind. Yeah, so that just leaves for me to say in Swedish, God Jul. That's Merry Christmas. So, God Jul.